Hello, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Julie Muhn. I'm Senior Research Analyst with Finovate, and I am joined today by Vanya Tokic, Senior Director of Retail Digital Transformation Strategy at Raiffeisen Bank International. We're going to be talking today about playing digital catch-up and how to stay ahead of the generative AI hype curve. So Vanya, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so to get started, so you lead the digital transformation strategy at Raiffeisen Bank International, and that operates across multiple CEE markets. What does digital transformation actually mean in your role day to day, and where do you personally spend most of your time?
I mean, it's a lot about alignments. So we have the retail digital strategy, which is building a digital bank with a human touch. And actually it's making this strategy real in the markets. So it's supporting the markets, it's prioritizing, it's working with the countries, making sure that they have the priorities straight, making sure that they keep the focus so that we can deliver on the promise of the strategy. So it's a lot about working with people, coordinating, aligning, more than actually, the technical part of the work. It's really more on the people side where I do most of my transformation work. Yeah.
Very interesting. All right, so we've now arrived at 2026, which is kind of hard to believe. A lot of times it feels like we're living in the future, right? So 2026, what would you say now is the hardest digital transformation challenge for a bank like Raiffeisen?
Yeah. I mean, specifically for us as Raiffeisen Bank International, being in 10 CE markets and being a group of banks, actually independent banks, it's getting everybody up to speed to standardize, to use the same components, to be able to reuse as much as possible. Because we see this independence that we had before as a strategic advantage, we see more and more as slowing us down. Yeah. So we have to speed up a little bit with standardizing, with reusing things. And more generally, I think it's about getting the data foundations. It's about getting the integrations ready for the agentic future. So I think that's the big one.
Yeah, well, on that note, so a lot of smaller institutions, they're stuck, as we mentioned, they're stuck in digital catch-up zone here. If you had to give just one piece of advice, what should they stop doing, and what is one thing that they should double down on?
They should definitely stop digitizing their old processes. I think it's really about reimagining how your journeys are working, and maybe the concrete advice would be just take 2 or 3 key customer journeys, like the onboarding or lending or payments, like the simple ones, and just rethink how they work and redo them in the digital age. So don't repeat the same thing that you did in the past. Try to adapt and do it in a new way.
Yeah, I love that. That makes so much sense. I feel like that can be applied across banking and across multiple industries as well. All right, so now switching over to generative AI. I know you mentioned agentic AI. What is your favorite application of Gen AI in a banking setting?
I mean, for me, it's really about keeping it simple and not hyping it too much. So maybe on 2 sides. On customer-facing side, I really like the advancement of the conversational AI. I really like how we moved away from these simple Q&A chatbots, and we are able to more and more get to the customers as we roll out new skills to our conversational assistants to support the customers. And I really like how naturally and how much more naturally we can do it now, and how fast it's advancing. So it's amazing for me. On the back end, on the inside of the bank, I think it's really about document management and how much efficiency we can get with using LLMs and Gen AI to scan through the documents or to summarize documents. So really helps with this tedious manual work that we had to do before. Yeah.
Yeah, so really powerful applications to save time and save costs there. Great. So on that same topic, where do you think that banks are currently overestimating generative AI?
Overestimating, I think it would be going with the hype. Yeah, so I think there is still a lot of overhype on the Gen AI topic. I think the banks and the senior management and the leadership and the people in general, I think they're underestimating what it takes to put those things in real processes, in real production.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of pilots still popping up or trying to pop up even in our bank. People get a lot of inspiration, they get a lot of good ideas, but actually, putting this into the regular daily work is what people underestimate. So they overestimate the simplicity. It looks really simple when you start prompting, but when you actually have to do it in a regulated environment, then it's really difficult to get it done.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right, so as we wrap up here, tell us about what one concrete step that you think banks should take this year to prepare for this AI-led future before it becomes unavoidable.
I mean, for the legacy banks, so for the ones which existed for a longer time, I think it's really about finally cleaning up your data foundation. I think that's the big one. And I don't think it's just for this year. I think it's going to take us a couple of years. Yeah. But getting the data foundations, the integrations, making sure that we are ready for this, for the agentic future and for agents sort of reading through and browsing through our knowledge bases across the bank. I think this will be the big one.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Well, Vanja, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. I really enjoyed this conversation and learned a lot.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and hope that you did as well. Thank you for joining us.